we can go ahead and start that recording. And this is just going to be the first of, if I had to break down the material I want to share with you, at least five or six. So we're going to do this again next Monday at 7 as well. But I'll confirm the date and time and everything based on Miss Brower's availability and whatnot. But this is not going to be just one Zoom, but this is going to be one of at least five or six leading up to the Las Vegas event. And this is just for people who want to be great. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And we might as well call this particular setup Zoom's Millionaire School. And I spell the word millionaire with two N's, and that's because the original spelling of the word millionaire, the first time it was used in America was actually in Louisiana, hundreds of years ago, and the original French spelling has two N's. I just call this a millionaire school, and it's as simple as ABC about why you would want to be on these Zooms if you really want to be great. It's as simple as ABC. A stands for already, as in you want to learn from someone who's already a millionaire. So congratulations, y'all have stuck with me. Plenty of millionaires in the world, but you stuck with me tonight. And then B, you want to be the team, as in be the team. When I say people who need leaders, oh, I want to recruit leaders. Good, be a leader. Okay, I want to recruit people who retail a bunch of product and retail my product. Good, you go recruit, go retail more product. I want to recruit, top earners and people big teams. Good, you go build a big team. A core principle is not just that you need to learn from someone who's already done it. Okay, but you also need to be the team. Okay, you need to be the exact thing or person or situation that you want to merit in your organization. And C, chemistry. ABC. A is for already, B is for be the team, and C stands for chemistry. And we talked about this yesterday. Mediocre people do not like high achievers, and high achievers do not like or don't get along with mediocre people for reasons that are just high achievers realize that they can run through the finish line with 1,000 people. You can run alongside 1,000 people, but you can't even win one race trying to drag a person or carry one person on your back. And that's what high achievers have to do when they're surrounded by what we call mediocre people. Mediocre people don't like high achievers because high achievers go too hard in the paint. High achievers, they hold a mirror up, not even on purpose, to the mediocre people that says, hey, this is what you need to be. This is how you should be operating. And it rubs mediocre people the wrong way. Now, there's no person's better or worse. God created everyone even in his sight. The word says that, but you got to decide at some point kind of what you want to be. So this is going to be millionaire school for people who are high achievers or want to be high achievers, and we're going to cover some things. Number one, please just, you don't have, this is being recorded, you don't have to take copious notes, but number one, I need to establish a foundation before we give you the 12 millionaire principles. And I'm going to teach you as a bonus over the course of these classes the exact 10 things I did, 10 business models, and so on and so forth, of how I made my first $1 million. Okay, and that's going to be very, very important to you. But none of that knowledge matters. None of it matters. None of it matters unless we have the proper foundation for learning and growth. And the first thing that we're going to write down tonight for our foundation of prosperity and growth, I talk about it all the time because what is repeated is remembered, and what is remembered is repeated. Number one is going to be understanding the difference between the conscious and subconscious mind. You need to write that down. You need to write that down. The difference between the conscious and subconscious mind. Okay, you need to write that down. Okay. And basically, just in a nutshell, as fast as I can explain this, your conscious mind is the part of your brain. Okay, it's the part of your brain that is you use it to determine what you want to eat today. I want to get pizza today. I want a salad today. It's a very small percentage of your brain, less than 10%, and it's the part that you use to make decisions in the present. Okay, I want to buy a green car. No, I want to get a red car. I want to get a red car. Right? It's the part of your brain that says, that makes very small but also very, very important decisions in the now. Okay, it doesn't have a lot of processing power, but it is very, very, very important. We'll talk about that at length over the next couple of weeks. Your subconscious mind consists of 90 to 95% of your brain, and your subconscious mind is the part of your brain that does all what I call the heavy lifting. Okay, it does the heavy lifting. Well, what does that mean? If you get a cut on your arm. It is your subconscious mind that automatically knows to send white T cells to that spot to fight infection and to create a scab. You don't have to think about that happening. It's going to happen automatically because your subconscious mind runs automatically. It's pre-programmed with several things. Okay, when you eat a bunch of food, you're probably going to go to the bathroom at some point. You don't have to think about it, it's just going to happen. Your subconscious mind will let you know when it's done digesting all your food because you're going to go to the restroom. Okay, it's that type of machine. It does so much. When you go to sleep, your subconscious mind doesn't sleep. Your subconscious mind stays in operation because it's keeping your heart beating, it's keeping your lungs going as well. Okay, so the subconscious mind has a lot of duties that it does. Well, Will, how do they interact with each other? The conscious mind, okay, tells the subconscious mind what to do, but it has to tell it what to do in a certain way, or the subconscious mind is not going to listen. Now, that is important for you to understand that distinction. Okay, for example, when you first started learning how to drive a car, it was very awkward for you. You had to think about the clutch. You had to think about putting your seatbelt on. You had to think about having your hands at 10 and 2. Okay, but once you drove a car for a month, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, maybe a year, 2 years, 10 years of driving a car, the job of driving a car has largely been given over to your subconscious mind. Now you can drive a car while texting. You should not do this, by the way, but you could, and you're probably pretty safe doing it. You can drive a car and have a phone conversation and be just fine. Some of you are so proficient that if you had a real long night out at the club and you driving home, sometimes you don't even remember driving home, but you just show up and you kind of wake up once you pulling into your driveway. Did that ever happen to anybody? Am I the only person that ever went out before and was so tired, was so out of it? This is back in the day now. That you just kind of somehow just showed up at the house. I know I'm not the only person that ever happened to. Thank you. We can look. The angels got me home. Tell them, Shauna, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's how it happened. It's a thing. It's your subconscious mind. It's a gift. Okay. So just understand that when the Bible talks about as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Okay. Proverbs 23:7. Okay. When the Bible says as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, it doesn't mean the heart as in the organ that pumps blood. That's not what it is. Okay. The word heart is an ancient word, it's a Chaldean word from the land of Ur, Abraham's people. Before, when the book of Genesis was out, the word heart doesn't mean the heart that pumps blood. When they were doing a translation of the Bible, they didn't have a comparative word because King James and them didn't have science and research like the subconscious mind back then. So the word literally should read, as a man or woman, as a human thinks in their subconscious mind, so they are in physical reality. Okay, I just need you to understand that concept. The Bible is 100% true, as are most spiritual texts that talk about that. I'm sure there are verses in the Quran and many other spiritual texts that talk about that, but maybe the translation is different, and I'm not familiar with those books, but I know that that's a universal law principle. Okay, your what you truly believe you are on a deep subconscious level, that is what will manifest in physical reality. So how do I know what you think about yourself? I can look at what you're manifesting in your life. I can look at what you're being blessed or cursed within your life. Bible even says, by their fruit ye shall know them. Okay, by ye shall know them. What are you producing? Okay, now let's move on to another concept, number two. Okay, now as I go into number two, I just want to tell you some of the stuff in your subconscious mind has been put there before you were born, like your DNA and things of that nature. But other stuff in your subconscious mind is keeping you from being great. Okay, and you were programmed with these beliefs. So I'm gonna try to go through them very quickly so we can wrap up and head over to the social media Monday call, and we'll pick this up on next. Let me just make sure that I'm even available next Monday at that time, because we're going to do we need to do this call for about it's going to be about 5 weeks, probably leading up to the December event. Okay, and next Monday is Halloween. Yeah, that should be good. I don't plan on doing a whole lot, but we'll get it sorted out. So, number two, here is a myth that you have been programmed with. Hear me out. Having a good job or having a job is good and ultimately leads to wealth. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Having a job is good and ultimately leads to wealth. I'm not the first person who ever said that. Thousands of authors have said that, but you need to hear it. That's a myth. Okay, having a job is good and ultimately leads to wealth. Now, here's the thing, there's a grain of truth to that myth. Whoa, Will, what? Yep, there's a grain of truth. Okay, hear me out. There are 3 points about that statement. Having a job is good and ultimately leads to wealth. It's a myth, all right? But hear me out. A job is good only insofar it is a necessary temporary inconvenience. That's how I want you to start viewing jobs. Jobs are good. Having a good job is a blessing. I admit that. I had a job for many, many, many years. But hear me out. Having a job is good, but it's good insofar as it's a necessary temporary inconvenience. Okay, that's the first point I wanted to make about that. All right, a job is a necessary temporary inconvenience. Be grateful, but we always want to strive for more. Okay, because we want our money working for us so we don't have to go to a job. All right. Number two, second point about number two. Wealth is when small efforts produce large results, and poverty is where large efforts produce small results. I'll say it again. Wealth is when small efforts produce large results, and poverty is when large efforts produce small results. You know, one of the people who know me really well, one of their biggest knocks on me is how much I don't work. One of their biggest knocks is the fact that I typically wake up around the crack of noon. One of their biggest knocks is that they typically don't see me break a sweat. It's not that I don't work hard, ladies and gentlemen. My work, the work I do that's difficult, is mental labor. It's mental labor. It's making decisions. It's reading books. It's talking. It's not physically demanding. Okay, that it's staying up till 3, 4 in the morning because I gotta prepare information for you. Is that physically demanding? No, I'm 2 cups of Nova away from writing a best-selling book. You see, but small efforts produce large results. That's wealth, and I want to apply that principle even as far as investments. We'll learn about that later. Okay, but poverty is when large effects, hard work, okay, produce small results. The janitor at my high school would be there at 5 in the morning and leave at 7 o'clock at night and be cleaning toilets all day and never made no real what my dad would call real money because that's a large effort, small result. He's setting himself up for failure. Okay, number three, a job that'll make you wealthy is like looking for gold in the coal mine. I will say that again. A job producing wealth, a job that'll make you wealthy, looking for that is like looking for gold in the coal mine. Why do I say that? Because it's not that you won't find it, but boy, it's going to be so hard. You might be 100 years old before you find it. How do we know this? Because jobs haven't made any of us wealthy. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on the phone. I'm sorry. You wouldn't be on the phone. If a job, your boss ain't even happy with that job. Okay. And what does Psalms 145 verse 16 say? It says, God, you open your hand and satisfy the desire of every living thing. Okay. Well, my desire is to be a millionaire, now it's to be a multimillionaire. Dare say it, a billionaire at this point. Okay, but understand Psalms 145:16 tell me I can have that. It says, you God, you open your hand and you satisfy the desire of every living thing. So I just have to ask myself, what did God say about me being rich? Well, he told me I can have whatever I want. Bible said that. Don't get mad at me. That's what God said. You got to decide what you want. It also says, as far as look, well, Will, you need to get a job where you work hard. I'm gonna tell you what 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 24 said. It says, the servant of the Lord shall not strive. I'm not supposed to hustle, 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 grind, grind, grind. If I do grind, it's mental labor. The work I do, the work I do in the gym is voluntary. But the work I do in this network marketing business, it's mental, y'all. It's spiritual. It's personal development wrapped around. It's a compensation plan wrapped around personal development. The servant of the Lord shall not strive, and God is going to open His hand and satisfy the desire of every living thing. Okay, understand? That's number two. Number three. Here we go. Number three. All right. Here's a myth. Saving your money, okay, is a good investment. All right. Saving your money is a good investment. All right. Now we'll talk a couple points about that. Number one, how many millionaires you know who became wealthy by saving money, investing in savings accounts? Yeah, zero. It's just impossible. Doesn't work that way. Okay. Number two, saving is good. So there is a grain of truth in that myth. There's a grain of truth there. Saving is good, but let me tell you why. I want you to write this down. The word pie, like cherry pie, the word pie. Y'all know I love acronyms. This is why saving is good. Saving is good for P, peace of mind. You got 5, 10,000, 20,000 in the bank. Even if you don't spend it, make you feel good. Peace of mind is going to help you a lot because you become what you think about. Okay, peace of mind is very important. I, okay, saving. I also stands for investments. Okay, investments or uh impulse, really what it is. Impulse. Don't write investments. Write impulse is what the I stand for. Impulse. Why? Because sometimes you just out, you see something you like, it's an impulse. Ooh, that $600 jacket I want on sale for $497. Let me get that. Just it's the impulse buy. I want cash on hand. I want savings, just so I can go spend money and not really stress about it. Savings are there for impulse buy. Sometimes a piece of land went up for sale on a government auction a couple days ago. On a government auction, some land in the Ozarks, and I got an email about it from one of my real estate guys, and the auction went up, and the auction had an hour left. By the time I woke up, the auction ended at noon, and I got up at 11 and saw the email, and whatever the high bid price, I bid like $6 more than the high bid price, and I got the land. So sometimes it's good for impulse. I didn't want to, you just got money there for impulse, but it can be an investment. Sometimes there's a book you want to buy, or of course, you want to have a certain amount of just cash on hand savings in terms of peace of mind, impulse buys, which could be investments or other things, or just luxury items. That's fine. Okay, and then E, emergency. You want to have savings because of emergency. Sometimes you got to get something, you got to get it done, and you can't wait for the insurance company to come send a check. They'll send a check eventually, but you do need to have some savings because savings is good for that reason. PIE, emergency. Okay, but savings is not going to make you wealthy. It's not going to make you a millionaire. It's never made anybody a millionaire. It's not designed to make anybody a millionaire. And the third thing I'll tell you about savings, we'll talk about Matthew chapter 25 when he talk about the servants and the talents. It's in chapter 25 when he says that the master gave the servants some talents, and one of the servants invested the talents and made a bunch of money. The other servants invested, made a little bit of money, but the third servant says something to the effect of, I knew you were a hardcore taskmaster, so I didn't even, I was afraid to invest your money because I might lose it, so I buried it. So you gave me like 10 talent, I'm gonna give you it back. And boy, the master went off, threw him in jail or something, took the money he had and gave it to the person who invested it. So saving, as far as getting wealthy, God don't even want you doing that. Not to make money, you need to understand investing, and we'll learn about that. Let's move on to number 4, another myth. And notice that every one of these myths have a grain of truth. Every one of these myths have a grain of truth, but these myths, when we get rid of, as we get rid of them one by one, I hope you're coming into a new understanding, because this is going to help you be great. This is going to help you become a high achiever and help you produce high achievers. Okay, number 4, all debt is bad. All debt is bad. Not this, I struggled with this because I hated it. Hate owing people money, hate debt, but I didn't understand there's different types of debt. So here's the point. Debt is bad. Like, get rid of it, avoid it like the plague, whatever. Understand that there's a grain of truth in that. Okay, first point, consumer debt. Yeah, having a bunch of credit card debt, that's probably not too good for you. Okay, owing people money, borrowing money from people, that's probably not good for you. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and you'll be in a better position at some point to pay it back. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you borrow money from people, please pay it back. Don't make them come looking for you. If you borrow money and people got to come looking for you to get their money back, trust and believe you're going to be broke your whole life. You're gonna be trying to make ends meet, robbing Peter to pay Paul your whole life because it's such a weak vibration. You see, Consumer debt is not something you want. Now, it's again, it may be a necessary temporary inconvenience, but just like getting rid of your job as soon as you financially able, so you can go spend your time doing something real, you want to get rid of your consumer debt as fast as possible. Pay off your house, pay off your car, refinance if necessary, but you want to have a blueprint built out to avoid debt. So yeah, there is some truth to avoiding debt, but let me tell you, here's the thing about debt. There's something called investment debt. Okay, if there's $1 million piece of land I want and I don't want to liquidate all million some dollars of my net worth to get it, I will borrow a certain amount of money to access that land, and then I might turn around and flip it, pay that off, and then keep the profit. So the piece of land I just bought, I didn't even for them that acre, it's on a lake in the Ozarks. It wasn't even. I'm gonna just be frank with y'all. It was an auction. It might have been $200. Y'all just don't know how to look for stuff, or don't know how to find stuff, or don't have enough good credit to get a line of credit. Might have been $200, $300 tops. When you add all the fees and everything, was more than what the land cost because it's an auction. Government don't care. They don't care. I could turn around and sell that land today because it's on a lake. You can build whatever you want on it. I can turn around and sell that today for 10 grand, and it's worth it. And it's a steal for anybody who can get it, even if they got to pay me X amount of dollars a month. If I really wanted to do it, I could sell it for 5 grand tomorrow. Now, of course, I'm not going to tell a buyer that I got it at an auction for like 200 some dollars, right? Y'all, if y'all know about the land class we're gonna be teaching, I highly recommend y'all stay tuned next month for when we're gonna be doing a live class on how to acquire land and things of that nature. But I could turn on and sell that tomorrow. Okay, that's not to impress you, but to impress upon you the value of if I needed to borrow 200 some dollars to get in that auction and buy it, if I wouldn't have won the auction, that would have been a thing. But sometimes investment debt is a good thing. Consumer debt typically not a good thing. There's not just one type of debt. That's my point. Okay, and let me tell you the best type of debt you can do from an investment debt standpoint is investing in yourself. When I buy these HBM products, I love them. Okay. When I invest in my auto ship every month, I love it. When I get a VP pack, that's an investment that has paid me a lot on my return. So just understand, as a general rule, debt may be bad, but that's a myth because investment debt, either in yourself or in businesses, is very, very, very valuable. You need to learn how to distinguish consumer debt from investment debt. Okay, you do not want to be in debt, but if you have to be as a necessary temporary inconvenience to put yourself in a better position, then so be it. Okay, number five, security is good. Now, yes, there's a grain of truth to this. That security is good. There's a grain of truth to this. However, because security is good. But hear me out. For people who are thinking that Social Security is going to get you all right, okay, that security is going to get you right. It's not. Social Security is insolvent. Social Security doesn't have enough money for nobody living today to make that type of to have that how you gonna get it. And because of inflation and everything else and cost of living, even if you got Social Security, it's not enough to pay your bills. Like good luck with that. Security is not as good as you think. Jobs aren't even secure. How many people on this Zoom been fired from a job and you didn't want to be fired at the time? Okay. How many people? Yeah, might not even. How many people have been? I've been fired before. How many people have been fired before? Didn't want to get fired. Shauna says she just got laid off a month ago. Ain't no security. Shauna, how long did you have that job? You say you got laid off a month ago. Kim says she been fired before. Mac said he been fired before. Marcus said he been fired before. Leslie been fired before. I've been fired. Shauna said she had that job 14 years and got laid off a month ago. Do you understand? Ain't no more security I can never even hear of somebody who done had a job for over a decade and they fire you and you didn't want to be fired. And they fire, that's crazy. Ain't no security out here. So you looking for security. It's an illusion. Look like everybody on here been fired. Yep. Downsized after 19 years. Bernadette got almost there for 2 decades. Downsized. We all been there. Okay, let me tell you what's better than security. It's actually risk. This is why in Matthew 14, chapter 29, Jesus told Peter, he said, man, come. He said, come walk off the boat. Come walk on this water. Okay, you got to take risk. Hear me out. Hear me out. Risk is where you find opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. And opportunity is where you become a millionaire. Risk is where you find opportunity. And in fact, the word poor, I heard Joe Davis say this before. Mr. Joe Davis said poor, P-O-O-R, stands for passing over opportunities repeatedly. Okay, repeatedly. We got about 14 minutes left. I'm gonna really try to put some speed on this. Number 6, put a big star by this one. This is huge. Okay, huge. Number 6. This is a myth. This is a myth. Okay, failure is bad. Now, there's a grain of truth to it, of course. There's a grain of truth to most myths. There's a grain of truth to most lies. Okay, nobody likes making mistakes. It's true. So in that aspect, failure is bad. Sure, nobody likes making mistakes. But here's the reality that's bigger than that. Failure is necessary, statistically speaking. Let me show you. I cannot name one successful person or one high achiever who's never failed before. It's almost a prerequisite for being successful or being a high achiever. In fact, high achievers fail far more than unsuccessful people do, but high achievers keep going. You see, high achievers keep going. All right, Bible even says in Proverbs 24, says a righteous person falls down 7 times but get up 8. You hear me? A righteous person fall down 7 times, get up 8. It sounds as if it's almost a prerequisite to fail 7 times but keep on moving. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll say this. One good failure. Okay, one good failure, if you have a positive mental attitude about failure in general. People quit your team, so what? Product sold out, so what? You got somebody, raiding you down, start a new company and half your team leave, so what? All these little failures, listen. One failure can be better than a college education if you have a positive mental attitude about it and you learn from it. Failure can be very, very good. It's dang near a prerequisite for success, biblically and in real life today. Okay, just understand that one failure, and you're talking to somebody who has a bachelor's degree and I have a Juris Doctorate. So just understand, I'm very familiar with school, but one good failure can teach you more than you can learn in 4 years at the best university. I'll close that particular point with this. You don't drown by falling in water. You drown by staying there. Okay? You don't drown by falling in water. You drown by staying there. Failure will happen. Fail forward, fail faster, fail often, and you'll get to success faster. I love my haters so much. They don't even know because they all blocked me on Facebook, but I never speak ill of them. I love them and appreciate them so much because they helped me get my failures knocked out quickly. And that helped me grow a lot faster. Okay? It's the truth. It's the truth. Okay? Number 7. All right? It's a myth, but there's a little bitty grain of truth. It's a myth that, number 7, wealth is measured in material possessions. Now, sure, there's an obvious grain of truth there. Okay, there's obviously a grain of truth. Yeah, people got a Rolex or nice cars or a bunch of money. Yeah, it's true. On an objective level, we kind of measure wealth in terms of material possessions, but that's not good. Here's the first thing, because it's obviously grain of truth. But here's the point about it: wealth is not money. Please understand that. Money is the appearance of wealth. Okay, money is the appearance of wealth, but money is not wealth. Sometimes you have money, but you're not wealthy. Sometimes you're wealthy, but people don't see your money. See, a lot of people think that people broke because they don't wear their money or they don't drive their money. Now, I like to do all. I like to drive money. I like to wear money. I like to invest money. I like to be charitable with money. I enjoy money a lot. But just because you might see me one day in some sweatpants in a Toyota Corolla Uber, don't think for 1 second, right, that my net worth is not over $2 million at this point. Don't think that. Okay, and I don't want anybody to think that about you. Okay, hear me out. Write this down. Wealth is thoughts, not things. Wealth is thoughts, not things. It's not the things. Okay, I've been homeless 2 times, and each time I've rebounded faster and better and made more money than before because the wealth was never external. The wealth was always internal. If you took me today and just gave me some jeans and a t-shirt and some Crocs and just sat me down with no cell phone, no money, no bank account, and no car, put me in any city in America, okay? You give me a year, I'll have made everything all back plus some. Plus. And notice I didn't say overnight. I'd make money and I'd be doing good within a week. 7 to 10 days, you'd say, man, that dude, he built different. Within a year, I'd have everything I had before plus some, if not better. Because wealth is in the thoughts, because thoughts become things. Okay, thoughts become things. Wealth is of the heart and mind, not the pocket. Just wrap your mind around that. Even if you don't want to believe it or don't understand it yet, please do. Just it'll get there. Okay, it'll get there for you. And you need to understand this: we're not chasing money. We don't have to, because Deuteronomy chapter 8 said that God gave us the power. He said God gave you the power to create wealth. Wealth is a power. To create wealth is a power, but that don't mean you exercise it. I may be able to bench press 300 or 400 pounds. That don't mean I'm gonna go do it. I have the power to do it, but that don't mean I go do it. You see, Deuteronomy says you have the power to get wealth so that God may fulfill the covenant that he made your forefathers. So we need to understand what covenants was made prior to Deuteronomy. We got to go back to Genesis. And that's when you see talking about the Garden of Eden, which is in Ethiopia, mind you, if you care to do your research. But it says that there's gold in the land and the gold of the land was good. What was money back then? Money was gold. That was currency. Bible said it. It says, and I quote, the gold of the land was good. This is a good thing. I didn't say chasing money, idolizing money and things of that nature. No, that's bad. A lot of what these Hollywood cats is doing, that's bad. But money in and of itself is from God. It says the gold of the land is good. Then paper money come from trees. God made trees too. So I'm here for it. I got dominion over all things. Okay, but then a little bit later in Genesis in chapter 13, it says Abram, just before he changed his name, before the name got changed to Abraham, Abraham wasn't rich. Abraham, the Bible says, was very rich in cattle and silver and gold. And if you got cattle, you got land. So food, land, money, things of that nature, these are things God wanted for his chosen. He said Abraham was righteous. He believed in God. He was righteous. And what? Righteous people, we fall down 7 times, get up 8. We fail, but we always come back. So there's nothing inherently bad about money. I appreciate it. God made it. He put it here in the book of Genesis, and it was good. And here's the thing about having abundance. Let me give you a quick abundance point. We got about 6 minutes left, and we're gonna have to wrap it up and pick it up next week. Here's a quick note about abundance in general. We talk about the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve and things of that nature, philosophically speaking. Okay, philosophically speaking. I'm not a Bible literalist. Okay, I am a self-described metaphysicist. I like looking at the esoteric meaning of things, and that's why going to Bible college was so fun for me, because I like to look at things slightly deeper. Okay, so Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, they didn't need no clothes. They didn't know they was naked. They had food, all the water and food and drink they could ever want, except for that one tree. And of course, they had all the animals there. So if they wanted fish, they had sushi or whatever, because they had dominion over everything. So they didn't need to buy nothing, because there was nobody to buy nothing from. Everything was already theirs. And if there was something, there was nobody to sell it to. Wasn't nobody there but them. So there was no need to spend money, wasn't no need to invest money. They had everything they needed, didn't know anything they didn't need. So what's the point of the Bible talking about that the gold is good? Because that's a sign of abundance. They had more than enough. They had so much money they ain't even need it. I'm going there. I don't know where y'all trying to go. I'm trying to go there. I'm trying to have enough more. That's the promise that he made my forefathers, biblically speaking. And the Bible says in Genesis that he gives you the power to get wealth to fulfill his covenant that he made your forefathers. I'll take it. Even if you want to take it outside of evolution for like 2 seconds, technically, like spiritually speaking, everybody came from Adam and Eve. So we all descendants of Adam and Eve. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're man or woman or whatever. I ain't trying to figure out the logistics of it. I just know what God said, and I like that better than what the world said. So I'm going with that. Okay. Now, next point, number 8, myth. But there's a little bit of truth to it. Okay. Here's a myth, a little bit of truth to it. The government your employer or someone else is responsible for your financial well-being. The government, your employer, or some. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Little bit of technical difficulty there. I accidentally hit the button. I got too animated. Hit the button on my headset. I accidentally hung up. Okay. So there's a myth. Number 8, the government, your employer, or someone else is responsible for your financial well-being. Okay. Now here's let me give you the grain of truth that's in this myth. Let me give you the grain of truth. We've all thought this before. And at some point, the only reason why you had money to pay your bills was because of your job. For some of y'all, the only reason why you had money to pay your bills was because the government or a stimulus check or something like that. So at some point, this may have been true for all of us. And I know it was true for me back when I had a job before I understood money and before money understood me. My job was what it was. It wasn't the work of my hands. It wasn't the spiritual ability to manifest wealth. Okay. Or build a business that pays me even while I sleep, or investments, things like that. It was the job, it was the government. So number one, there's some truth. We've all thought it. Okay. But please understand this. Number two, I don't care where your people came from or how you got here. I don't care if you came here on a slave ship, allegedly. I don't care if your people were Native American and black, and you was one of the first people here, like foundational Black Americans. I don't care if your people came here from immigrants off the Mayflower, the Mayweather, or you was Italian immigrants from Ellis Island, or Irish immigrants from wherever. It don't matter where you came from or how you got here to America. Even the Native Americans and foundational Black Americans and the earliest settlers you can find. Listen, everybody who's ever been here, okay, was free to work and make their own way. That's historically accurate. Everybody who's ever been in America, okay, has been free, all right, to make their own way. When slavery got abolished, and we know it wasn't over with just because it got abolished, but years later, when people were able to actually be free, okay, whatever time frame you want to put on that, whoever you want to give credit for, Abraham Lincoln, the abolitionist, Nat Turner, however you want to do it, when people got free, they still had to go make their own way, and nobody wasn't taking care of them. So this is not a political conversation about none of that. I'm just telling you, no matter who you are, how you got here, you all here today in 2022. And anybody who ever did nothing, anybody else, anybody ever did nothing, anybody did. So everybody here got a fresh slate in my eyes. And everybody here is free to have the opportunity to work and be free in America. You have that opportunity. You might have just got it, but you have the opportunity to work and be free now. You can talk about the history books all you want, but let's talk about it over coffee after you become a millionaire. We'll deal with all of that later. Okay? Just understand that. But everybody now has the opportunity to work and be free in America. The government is not going to take care of you. Your employer is not going to take care of you. Here's the last point. This mindset of the government going to take care of me, a welfare, child support, whatever the game is today, that's a new mindset. That's a new mindset that, quite frankly, going to keep a lot of people broke. Wealthy people don't think that way. We think in terms of it's all on me anyway. And what does the Bible say? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. And then they said, teacher, teacher, where's the kingdom of God? He said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Boom. It's still on you. They was looking at Jesus to say, look, you do it. You make us rich. He turned around and said, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. He tried to throw him off. Then they came back and said, where's that? Because we want to go there right now. What that is, a bank? That's a temple? Is that a place? It's a school? It's a book? He said, no, the kingdom of heaven is within you. There it is. It's within you. Okay? Now I know we got another Zoom to hop on. Y'all just give me 10 minutes. I just want to get to a good stopping point. Okay, I just want to get to a good stopping point so we can pick this up next week. Okay? But do you understand the mindset of seek ye first? It's really all about you. You understand that? Ain't nobody coming to save you. Will Sanders might have did a favor once or twice, but guess what? Your long-term financial viability and your financial well-being is on you, and you better take up that mantle sooner than later. All right, number 9. Here's a myth, but there's a little bit of truth to it. Okay, acquiring wealth is a zero-sum game. And what does that mean? It means that making money, being wealthy, is a win-lose game. You got to have a winner, got to have a loser. That's not true. Now, here's why there's a grain of truth in that. There's a small grain of truth, but it's still a myth. Here's the grain of truth. Some people do play dirty. I'm gonna tell you that. You'll see that in network marketing. You'll see it in corporate America. You even see it in sports teams. Some people cheat. Some people play the game dirty. Some people want to get a deal, and that's fine. That's on them. They got to deal with karma. That's on them. We don't get down with all that. Okay, but here's my second point. In reality, there's an infinite source of wealth. It's infinite. Wealth is infinite. They print money at the Federal Reserve every day. I don't like the Federal Reserve. I think they're a corrupt institution. I think they should have nothing to do with America. But at the same time, I admit the fact that even prior to them, money was printed on a regular basis, and they're still finding gold in the hills. They still finding gold. They still finding silver. They still finding diamonds. Money is everywhere, and it'll be everywhere forever. They ain't even got to the money in the bottom of the ocean yet. They ain't even got to the. I, there is so much wealth in this world. Don't you ever be greedy. Don't you ever think that you got to cut somebody out to make money. Reality is in reality, money is infinite. Hear me out. You don't need to be filthy to be filthy rich. You do not need to be filthy to be filthy rich. Okay. And number 3, win-win wealth is a thing. A win-win scenario. Win-win wealth is a thing. When I do a business deal, I'm trying to, or when I sell a product to someone at HBN, because we share products we believe in, the people we care about, or when I sponsor someone, I immediately look for, is it going to be a win for me because of the opportunity to get another business good or a customer, the fast start commissions, whatever else? Is the product going to benefit them? And are they equipped based on the test that I gave y'all yesterday on the call? Are they equipped to take advantage of this opportunity? There's a gentleman who told me he was signing up, he was ready to sign up. I asked him a couple of questions. It's not a good fit for him. He's not ready. He needs more personal development before he takes the HBN opportunity. Some people ready to do 100 CV, I turn them down because they're not ready, and I know they won't be successful here yet, or they have the wrong expectations, and so on and so forth. I'm looking for win-win opportunities. Okay, you will never lose a dime betting in the best interest of yourself and the best interest of other people. You do not have to be filthy to be filthy rich. All right, number 10, one last myth. I'm getting to the end. One last myth. Okay, again, there's a grain of truth to it, or there was a grain of truth to it. Takes money to make money. Takes money to make money. All right, takes money to make money. And I rank this right up there with myths like money don't go on trees. I rank it right up there with stuff like don't take candy from a stranger, or don't take money from people you don't know. Or I rank this one right up there with all of those other myths we didn't talk about tonight, because y'all know about those already. Takes money to make money. Now maybe that used to be true. That's the grain of truth. Maybe it used to be true. Let me tell you what, it's no longer true. You can get rich starting from wherever you are. Okay? And you can make wealth from wherever you are. Okay, and that is a fact. And we're going to talk about that more on these particular calls. Now, I do want to give y'all a little bit of homework tonight, so that next week, next Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, y'all can have y'all homework done. So I'm gonna give y'all some homework, okay? And I'll explain the homework assignment a little bit later. Now, here is what it is. Number 1, I want you to write down the goals that you would have already achieved if you were a high achiever. Okay, now for example, if you platinum, please don't write down diamond. If you platinum, please write down pearl. If you gold, please write down platinum. If that's one of your goals. If your goal is to make more money, please don't write down $50,000 a month. Figure out the most you've ever made in 1 month ever in your life. Okay, in life. Write that down and add some money to it. So the most you ever made in your life was $7,000 in a month, and that includes your refund check and everything else. Let's write down $10,000 a month. Just stay within a range. The Bible says we move from faith to faith. What that means is we move better as human beings, operating from belief to belief. Okay, and for those of y'all who just joined the call, this is not the social media Monday night call. This is we're wrapping up Millionaire School. This is going to be a call we're doing Monday at 7 p.m. Leading up to the event. This is a limited only class we'll be teaching, and y'all, there's been a lot of foundational things covered. Starting at about we started about 7:15 tonight, but we'll be on time next week. But that's number one. I want you to write down your goals. Why? Because there was a study done of the class of 1954 at Yale University, and only 3% of that graduating class wrote down their goals. They wrote them down, only 3%. And here's the crazy part, that entire class of Yale, 1954, was successful. But the 3% outperformed the other 97%. And the only thing they did different was write down their goals. They had a lot of the same goals, but only 3% wrote them down. And that 3% out earned the other 97% in terms of money, bank accounts, land, cars, net worth, and everything else. So you will write down your goals this week. You don't have to share them with me, there for you. That's kinesthetic. You're writing something down. Write down your goals before next Monday. Number two, your exercise is going to be to visualize your goals. You need to visualize your goals. And I'm going to take this one step further. Okay, visualize your goals, and you need to read over them every day. Now, I take it one step further. I write down my goals over and over again every day. Every single day, I write my goals over again. Okay, but I visualize them as I'm writing them. Okay, so you need to visualize your goals every single day. Even if you don't want to write them every day, write them down once. But I recommend you write them down every day. Get a new notebook, write them down every day. Okay, because the Stanford won a tennis championship in NCAA back in the day, and what they used to do, they used to visualize. Let me tell you what Stanford University used to do. Stanford University would take the footage of their star tennis player back then, and they would take only the good shots and the good serves and the good returns and the stuff that the tennis player did good, and they edited a tape of just the good tennis plays that this person had made, and then they put it on a big old TV, and the student had to come watch it every day, and it was basically just a highlight reel of them. And then they had to close their eyes and they had to visualize that stuff every day for 5 to 10 minutes. Then they would go to class. That person ended up becoming a national champion tennis player. And all they did was visualize the good stuff they did. They never even worried about fixing mistakes. They just focused on the good, and it manifested more good. Okay? That's something you want to do. Also, visualizing when you wake up and visualizing your goals and you achieving those goals and already having achieved those goals before you went to sleep is the best time to do it. So visualizing at least once a day as you fall asleep. Okay, number three. Okay, I want you saying this affirmation every single day whenever you think about it. This is an affirmation from a French doctor named Emile Coué. Over the course of this course, we'll teach you how to create your own affirmations, but this is one that I've done for years, and quite frankly, I'll never stop. And this particular affirmation is every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. I say that every single day. I have 6 different phone alarms. Whenever the alarm goes off on my phone, I know it's time to say my affirmation. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. I have saturated my subconscious mind with this concept so much that it is never, ever, ever going away. Okay. I literally think this all the time, no matter, it covers every circumstance and every situation. We'll get more specific later, but that's the one I want you to do this week, every day until Monday. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. All right. And we'll talk about why that's so powerful next week. Number 4. Okay. I want you to replace your luck thinking with probability thinking, or replace your emotional stuff with logic. And let me just tell you how I want this to work for you in the next coming week. And you might want to write this down because I want you doing this every day. Okay? If you see something nice, I don't care if it's on a TV commercial, I don't care if it's a car, I don't care if it's somebody being happy or people sitting front row at a basketball game or a baseball game. I want you to think to yourself immediately 2 things. Write this down. That can happen to me, or that can happen for me, number one. And then number two, I want you to ask yourself the question, what did God say about that? Okay, I don't have to tell you what God said. We already did that. He wants you prospering. We talked about this. He wants you to have the desires of your heart. We talked about this. We followed scripture all night tonight. So we don't have to answer the question. Just ask the question, and it'll automatically remind you. Okay, just like in the New Testament, God wants you healthy in your body and your bank account and your spiritual soul health as well. This is undisputed at this point. It's undisputed. So I want you all week long, I want you to look at whenever you see something positive. You may see somebody with a six-pack. You may see somebody that's posting that's a diamond or a gold or a platinum, or somebody who going to the event. Guess what you say to yourself? That can happen to me. And what did God say about it? And we already know the answer. The answer is yes. Bible says if you a flawed parent and you know how to give your child good things, how much more than your Father in heaven who is perfect? The universal source energy gives perfection whenever we believe that we deserve it. Okay, let me. So that's the logical way that I want you to look at things. If it happened to Will Zanders, it can happen to you. If it happened to Marcus Jones, it can happen to you. If it happened to Paula Scarcella, it can happen to you. Y'all didn't know Paula was a multi-million-dollar network marketer before she started HME? Y'all didn't know that? If it happened to her, it can happen to you. Okay, it can happen to anybody if it happened to you. You just got to know that it happened to you. And then ask yourself, what did God say about it? Because if God says something about it, I don't care what your uncle say. I don't care what your prospect who called network marketing a scam or a scheme say. I don't care. What they said, what did God say? And if they think they more powerful, bigger, and badder than God, then I don't need to recruit them anyway because they're crazy. That don't make no sense. All right. Let me close with this. We're right on. Well, yep, we're almost right on time. Okay. We started about 7:15 or so. Okay. Statistically speaking, if you was on a call, you know what these numbers are. Okay, you already know what these numbers are in 2021 and 2022 because I gave you these statistics last week and I'm not going through them again. But here's the point. In the world and in America, in the world, there's more millionaires right now than ever. That's number one. Number two, there are more millionaires in America than any other place in the world. 40% of millionaires are in America. 40%. That's ridiculously high. China's not even close. Okay. There are more new millionaires in America and in the world than ever before in history since the invention of the word. Okay. Just since we've been on this call, there have been 125 new millionaires made just in America. I'm going to say that again. Just since we've been on this call tonight for the last 50 some minutes, there have been 125 brand new millionaires created just in America. In fact, there's been a new millionaire created just since I made that statement a second ago. All right. 9 out of 10 of the new millionaires in America, more millionaires in history than ever, 9 out of 10 are self-made new money. Self-made new money. Okay. That's what I want you to understand. The probability is that 8, 9, possibly 10. So 8 to 10 people out of every 100 people in America is a millionaire. I'm going to say that again. These are facts and figures. Go do your research. Look up Forbes. Do all the hours of research I did last week when I calculated these numbers from various respected financial publications. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Okay? Depending on the study you look at, 8, 9, possibly 10 people out of every 100 are a millionaire with the net worth after the debt is taken out of the net worth of over $1 million. That means even if they got debt, you got to take the debt and they still got $1 million left over after that. That's a millionaire. It's a high school millionaire, but it's still a millionaire. We talked about that. Okay. And last but not least, ladies, so that's what your fourth homework assignment was. Your first one is to write down your goals. Number 2, visualize your goals daily. Write them down again if you're smart. Number 3, say that affirmation every day whenever you think about it, even if you say it to yourself. But I recommend saying it out loud every day in every way. I'm getting better and better. Okay. Number 4, replace your luck or emotional thinking with probability logical thinking. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you the plan to actually become one of the 8, 9, 10 people out of 100 who become a millionaire this year. I'm going to tell you how to do it, but you just got to know that that's a thing. We'll cover that on the next call. We got plans for this stuff. We've already done it. I'm not even the only millionaire on this call. That's what's crazy. Okay, statistically speaking, there should be 3, 4, 5 of us on this call. I know at least 2 of them right now. At least 2 or 3 of them right now I can see on the call. Okay? So here's the last thing. This is what I want you to do. Last assignment. Oh, we'll actually got to go talk to people? No. That's not your last homework assignment. This homework assignment you want to complete every single night. And the homework assignment is going to be at night before you go to bed. I don't know who you pray to. I'm going to pray to God. That's me. In Jesus' name, I'm praying to God tonight, every night. And this is what I want you to pray for. I want you to pray for superhuman motivation to achieve your goals. Don't pray for money. Don't pray for a new car. Don't pray for that. We write our goals down. We visualize our goals. But when it comes down to our prayer time, just this week, for the next 7 days till next Monday before you go to bed, I want you to have that real sincere prayer time. And I only pray. Got to be at night before you go to bed. I want that to be the last thing that you're thinking about as you visualize your goals, as you pray God and you thank God and you pray for superhuman motivation. I want you to say those exact words. God, I'm praying tonight. I need superhuman motivation to push for my goals, to achieve my dreams. I need superhuman motivation. I need superhuman motivation. That's going to be your prayer 7 days in a row. Okay? Superhuman motivation. That's what I want. Supernatural motivation. That's what I want. Okay, I'm gonna be praying. I hope you're praying it too. Okay, so that's it. That's it for our call tonight. I know we got Social Media Monday on this same Zoom, so I'm gonna turn it over to Melissa Brower. Hopefully, Mel, you can stop the recording for that particular